By Monday morning, the gossip mill in our small town was churning harder than a butter factory in the Depression. Richard's meltdown at the barbecue had given everyone something new to chew on, and boy, were they chewing. I was at Murphy's diner, coffee strong enough to wake the dead, pie that makes you forget your own name, when my cousin Oliver slid into the booth across from me. Oliver's a courthouse janitor, which basically makes him CNN for local drama. "You hear what happened last night?" he said, lowering his voice like he was about to share classified intel. I took a sip of coffee. "Enlighten me." "Well," Oliver leaned in, "my neighbor's cousin's wife works at the bank. She says federal agents were in there all weekend. Suits, computers, files, and the whole 9 yards. Federal agents. Never a good sign. Either you're about to be promoted or indicted. And I had a feeling Richard wasn't getting a corner office." Oliver grinned. "Word is it's about some loans that went sideways. Big ones. The Henderson deal, maybe?" "Bingo. The same deal Richard bragged about like it was his golden ticket. Looked more like fool's gold now. But Oliver wasn't done." His eyes lit up like Christmas. "You know that mansion Richard and Clara live in? Maple Street, fountain out front?" I nodded. Hard to forget. Clara sent me a Christmas card from that place once, just to rub it in. "Well," Oliver said, "around 11 p.m. the whole neighborhood heard screaming. Not arguing, I'm screaming. Mrs. Henderson next door said it sounded like someone was getting murdered. Now that was interesting. Clara wasn't the screaming type. If she was loud enough to shake the block, something major had gone down." "What were they fighting about?" I asked. Oliver dropped his voice. "Photos. Lies. Clara shouting, 'How could you do this to me?' Richard yelling back that it wasn't what it looked like. Then he leaned back, savoring it. Around midnight, Clara tore out of the house with a suitcase. Richard chased her down the driveway in his bathrobe, but she was gone. I sat there, picturing it. Clara, the woman who left me because I couldn't provide stability, bolting from her perfect life like it was on fire. Oliver wasn't finished. Here's the kicker. Around 2 a.m., Richard called 911, said someone was threatening him. When the cops showed up, he was a wreck. Kept saying they were watching him, they wouldn't let it go. But when asked who they were, he clammed. "Up, no names, no report." I sat back. The mysterious photo at the barbecue, the meltdown call, Clara running, now Richard seeing enemies in the shadows. Either the man was cracking up, or someone was playing him like a fiddle. Oliver shrugged. "Guy like him's bound to have enemies. In banking, you screw enough people, eventually one of them screws back." I didn't argue, because for once Oliver was dead right. By Monday, the gossip mill in town was on fire. Richard Langford, once the golden boy banker with the perfect life, was a paranoid mess. His empire was collapsing, his wife Clara was missing, and I had front row seats. Oliver and I sat in Murphy's diner, sipping coffee strong enough to wake the dead. "Remember how they used to look at you at family gatherings?" he asked. "Like you were a charity case who couldn't get it together?" I nodded. Hard to forget 3 years of family judgment. "Well," he said, grinning, "looks like the tables have turned. Richard's the one who can't keep his life together, and you're sitting pretty, business booming, reputation solid, no FBI agents knocking on your door." I raised my mug. "Karma's a bitch." "Amen to that," Oliver clinked. Back. Word of Richard's firing spread faster than wildfire. The official story? He decided to pursue other opportunities. Translation: fired so fast it left skid marks. His office was stripped, his family photos confiscated, and federal agents were combing through everything. Jake, a maintenance guy at the bank and my unofficial intel source, filled in the details over beers. Richard had been approving bad loans, taking kickbacks, falsifying documents. The Henderson deal? A total scam. Clara had shown up trying to collect his stuff, only to be blocked because everything was evidence. Ugly crying in the lobby, escorted out by security. Meanwhile, Richard wandered his mansion like a caged animal. Neighbors reported him pacing, at all hours, obsessively checking locks, calling the police over nothing. Socially, he'd become radioactive. Clara's Instagram and Facebook accounts had gone silent. The golden couple was gone. 3 weeks later, it was time for the Patterson family reunion. Same park, same rusty grills, same porta potties. Only the cast had changed. I pulled in, work truck dusty from the morning job. Richard's BMW? Gone. Clara's car, dented, coffee-stained, clearly not the designer showpiece it used to be. I grabbed my contribution, a bag of gas station chips, and waded into the chaos. Cousin Emma spotted me first. Radar for gossip, NASA level. "Marcus!" she shouted, waving me over like the VIP of disaster. And I thought, smiling under my dust-coated work shirt, front row seats don't get any better than this. Clara looked like she'd been dragged through hell backwards. Hair matted, designer clothes wrinkled and ill-fitting, eyes hollow and tired. The woman who once ruled our small town with Richard at her side was now broken. At the Patterson family reunion, whispers flew. Richard? No one knew where he was. Foreclosed on, legal trouble, criminal charges stacked higher than anyone could imagine. And Clara? Word was she'd been living out of her car. Walmart parking lots, rainy nights, surviving on scraps. I approached cautiously, paper plate in hand. "Hey, Clara," I said. She glanced up, recognition flickered, gratitude for a small kindness, but it vanished as fast as it came. She tried to smile. "I'm fine," she whispered. It was a lie, obvious to anyone paying attention. I asked about Richard. "Legal issues," she said. "Wire fraud, money laundering, conspiracy. A criminal empire built on dirty money." We sat in silence, sipping coffee while the rain hammered the windows. Finally, she admitted it. She had married a man she didn't really know. Now I have to figure out who I really am when I'm not. Mrs. Richard Langford. Her honesty cut through the tension. I told her what had helped me survive my own failures. One day at a time, focus on what you can control, ignore what you can't. No magic formula, no easy fix. Just work, persistence, and the slow rebuilding of a real life. She asked about Richard defending himself, claiming the system was overreaching. I said nothing. Her delusions were all she had left. When she finally left, stepping into the rain, she apologized for everything, leaving, the harsh words, the choices. I told her to take care of herself, that was all. 6 months later, the newspaper screamed the headlines. Richard Langford sentenced to 15 years for his crimes. Clara had lost everything. House, cars, jewelry, art, all seized. She'd disappeared, starting over somewhere unknown. Meanwhile, my construction business thrived. Isaac Rodriguez, a legend in the trade, had partnered with me. Hill Construction grew beyond what I'd imagined, employing ex-cons, recovering addicts, and people eager to rebuild their lives. Our reputation, integrity, hard work, and respect. Projects poured in. Government contracts, commercial builds, residential renovations. Success on my terms, built honestly, sustainably. I thought about Clara sometimes. I hoped she found peace, learned from the implosion of her perfect life. But I didn't dwell on revenge or satisfaction. The real wealth wasn't in money or status. It was in the life I had built, in people who mattered, in the work that made a difference. Best revenge? Not revenge at all. It's living your life so well that you don't need anyone else's failure to validate it. Richard was in prison, Clara was rebuilding, and I was finally free.